So now it's time to review the movie that came out this week starring a big red creature that's hunting down cryptids. No, not that one. The good one. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
We're here talking about Missing Link, and we just got done talking about Hellboy. And I had some feelings about that movie. So I don't want you guys to think that me just acting like I'm completely drained as I talk about this film is any kind of an indication about my feelings towards this movie.
No.
This movie was delightful.
It was very charming.
This is a super charming film. This is by Leica Studios, right?
Yes.
That's how you pronounce it?
Yes.
They have mastered charm in stop motion animation. Which, in all honesty, I don't think that there's any stop motion animated films I've seen over the past, 10 years that I didn't think was incredibly charming. Because, Wallace and Gromit, who made those pirate films?
Oh, it's Aardman Entertainment.
Yeah.
They did
Same
Wallace
people.
and Gromit and Pirates and everything like that.
Yeah, also very charming. Just something about stop motion animation very charming. But when it comes to, I'll just go ahead and say this. They have very few films that I think are amazing. I think Coraline was really darn good.
Yes.
I think Kubo and the Two Strings. I thought that was really darn good. Every single one of their other films, I think is that's pretty good.
It's never average. It's just nice or amazing.
It is nice. I am glad I saw it.
And there's nothing wrong with a nice
Hey man, every
movie.
now and again, you just need a nice film.
You just need a nice film. A nice film that's done with stop motion animation, which is an art form that I have a great admiration for because it takes up a lot of time and so much effort. And
Man, during the end credit sequence of this, they show one scene from the film as it is being stop motion with the camera pulled back and you see the people just quickly running in there, just constantly putting everything together. Yeah, man, it makes you respect the hell out of these people for all the work that they do on this thing. But I will say this one, once again, I think it is nice.
Yes.
This is a perfectly fine, nice, charming film. That's really, man, we're going to go into more details, but that's really all I got to say about this. How is the acting in here? Very nice and charming. How does it look? Very nice and charming. Is it funny? It is very nice and charming.
You did get a few chuckles, though.
Oh, I got some good chuckles in there. Yeah, but there's never really anything in here that made me go, But there's a decent number of, That's, Oh, Leica. Yes, very good. That's kind of what the entire film is. But you know what? That's totally fine.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. So this film, it is all about Hugh Jackman, who's playing Hugh Jackman, and on the search for Zach Galifianakis, who was playing Zach Galifianakis. Man, I spent weeks trying to go, is that David Cross? No. Is that Patton Oswalt? No. Oh, it's when you smash both those guys together, it's Zach Galifianakis. That's who that is. And as soon as I realized it was Zach Galifianakis, I was like, how the hell did I not realize that? That's totally Zach Galifianakis. But yeah, he wants to belong to this club that is one of those adventurers clubs.
Yes, it was during what?
I'd say 1800s, late 19th century.
Late the turn of the century.
Yes, exactly. Late 19th century.
Yes, in London, where everyone's all about adventuring and being manly men.
It's where the highest point of acclaim that you can get for yourself is to become a member of a men's-only group where there's a bunch of lion heads on the wall. And everyone is talking about that time that they killed that animal that was this big. That's what it is. It is nothing but a bunch of... it's an entire group full of those people. And he wants to join this adventurers club, but he wants to join it not for killing animals, but for discovering unknown creatures. And this thing starts off with him trying to hunt down the Loch Ness Monster. And this is probably the most gorgeous sequence in the entire movie, is him, trying to catch the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, they're at that scene, it's how do they do the underwater effects?
I was trying to figure out how the hell are they doing water in this.
Yeah, it's
the water looks so good in this. I can only imagine how much work went into that. So it's them just chasing that, so they hunt that down, but then that goes wrong. But he gets this clue that the Sasquatch might be real. So he has to go to America to prove to them that Sasquatch is real, and he has gotten the guy who is the head of this group to say, fine, if you find proof of the Sasquatch, I'll admit that I'm wrong, and you can join the team. And then as soon as he's gone, he's like, I can't possibly be wrong. Yes, I know that there is no chance of him being right, but just the mere idea of me being wrong. I'm so angry about that. So I might be turning him to Yosemite Sam a little bit there. So he hires a guy to hunt him down and kill him to make sure that he never gets back. So he goes there and he finds the Sasquatch, and the Sasquatch is intelligent. He reads, he writes, he knows how to speak. He's Zach Galifianakis.
Yes, he actually wrote the letter that he sent to him. So.
I know, yeah. I was wondering whether I should reveal that, but I was like, I figured that out.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was kind of in the trailer.
Oh, it is? Okay,
yes.
We gotta get that out of the way right now.
Yeah.
As I said, I've stopped watching trailers, but I did see the trailer for this one. Watching this movie made me go, I am so glad I am trying to not watch trailers anymore, because if you've watched that trailer, you've watched this entire film. This entire film is in that trailer.
Yeah, unfortunately, the trailer does spoil quite a lot.
It's not like there's anything huge.
No, it's nothing, anything major.
But it's like every plot point, every single beat of it is bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
You have watched a 2-minute version of this entire film in that trailer. So he basically tells him, listen, I'm the only one left up here. All the other Sasquatches are gone. But I know on the other side of the world in the Himalayas, I've heard that there might be others like me. And he's like, oh yes, the Yeti. So he wants this adventurer's help to get him. I yelled so much about Hellboy earlier that my throat is spent right now.
I was wondering if you wanted to like take a break between
No, let's just race through this.
Okay.
I want everybody out there who hears my raspiness to feel like it's a teaser for that Hellboy review that we just did. I'm going to have a card pop up for that somewhere. So he decided, well, okay, so here's the deal. I will get you to the rest of your family. I will get you to the Yetis. But you have to give me some proof of you. Like some hair clippings, some like footprints, photographs, something like that. He also brings up poo. And there's a couple of poo jokes in here that are a little like,
it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't, don't get me wrong. There's far worse poo jokes out there. But it feels like the rest of the film was up here, and those were like the 2 jokes that were like, that's a little bit below your belt, a little bit. That's, you kind of, that was a little bit of an easy joke there. So they have to find a map to where the Yetis are, and he had a friend who was hunting down the Yetis, but he passed away, so he has to go to his widow. Thank you. I almost said fiance, but that's literally the exact opposite of that. Has to go to their widow, who this adventurer also had a thing for, and she ends up tagging along with them, and they're being hunted by this person, and then they go on the search for the Yetis, and that's kind of basically the movie there.
The adventurer's name, I think his name is Lionel.
Yes.
And the woman's name, her name was Claudia.
Thank you.
Yes,
You are far better at remembering names than I am.
And the Sasquatch's name is Susan.
Susan.
Yes.
Which that was a nice little lovely thing in there. Which I was honestly wondering if, they even stop and point out, but that's a girl's name. Yes. Well, okay then, Susan. And I also was wondering, are you supposed to be making like a thing about like gender roles and like identity and personal identity in this? And then I read a thing literally right before we started recording in which the director was like, no, yeah, this has a very small theme about like gender politics and stuff like that and like identity themes in there. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. That's cool if they put something like that in there. It's not like it's like, don't get me wrong, don't go into this movie being like, oh, that's what the entire film is about. Not really.
No.
It's a very small thing they put in there. It's like, hey, cool. That's a nice thing. So, yeah, this, again, just like the rest of this film, that's nice. That's nice. So, yeah, I really don't have, like, really much to say about, like, the story in here. It's
a very basic, simple story.
It's a fine, basic, simple story.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need, like, a complex story to enjoy a movie or anything like that.
But the thing that makes this film appealing is really the relationship between Lionel and Mr. Link.
Yes. Susan Link, I guess is his full name, or? Yes,
which I know that, like, he decides that he wants his name to be Susan in this. I was like, okay, that's kind of nice. But the name Mr. Link is so good, because that's also still his name in here. Mm-hmm. But it's the relationship between those two characters is the big appeal of this. Because it is just a buddy road trip, is what this is. And I felt like they could have done a few more things where they like stop it here. And
yeah, I was thinking that too, but then I remembered like that shot during the credits where they just like showed the behind the scenes of that elephant walking through the jungle. It's like, yeah,
we would have killed 3 people in this movie if we got like one more scene.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it would have been nice if we saw them like do some wacky shenanigans in New York or Paris. I was like, no, I don't.
There's a lot of like maps showing people going from A to B to C.
But like then you gotta remember, this is all like handmade stop motion. We don't want to like kill these people over something so small.
Yeah, so
I will let that slide.
Exactly. It's like it would have been nice story-wise if we had gotten little beats, even if it was just like a montage kind of thing.
Yeah.
But everything's so charming in here, it's not like it's mandatory. No. And we do get a decent chunk of them being around each other and their interaction with each other. There's a moment, again, it's in the trailer because everything's in the trailer. But the moment where he's having to like break into a place to steal this map, that's incredibly adorable in there because Susan really doesn't understand, like, he has learned to speak by just listening to people and by reading stuff, but he's never really interacted with people.
No.
So because of that, when Lionel has his classic British wit, it just goes straight over Susan's head. And that joke kept going for long periods of time in here. But I was fine with it. It was always funny.
It didn't drag.
No, it never dragged. When I say it goes on for long periods of time, I don't mean they have like one joke that just keeps going and going and going. I mean, it's a running gag.
It's a running gag, yes.
Of Susan just not understanding how Lionel is using like sarcasm or anything. And it works. It totally works in here. And then when, what was Claudette?
Claudia?
Claudia. Yeah, when she ends up joining the team, she was a great addition to the team.
Yeah.
She totally adds a lot to it. I will say the villain, like the big, like, that villain guy, he's pretty good. But, like, the hired assassin they have going after him, I didn't care about that guy at all. I thought that guy was really basic. I didn't think there was really anything interesting about that guy.
No, I think it was meant to be, like, the basic snivelly, weaselly guy.
I guess. But, yeah, they could have done some more with him. I will say when they get to the Yetis, which again, that's not a spoiler because it's in the trailer everywhere.
Yep.
It's in the trailer, it's in the TV commercials, it's everywhere. You see them with the Yetis. You even see how the Yetis are going to interact with them.
Yeah, and that's so disappointing. I really hate it when, like, trailers...
That feels like an actual spoiler thing. Like,
them
actually meeting the Yetis, okay, that's not too much of a spoiler. That's still fine, but then seeing that the Yetis all basically are going to turn on Susan, and they're all opposed to Susan being there. Man, that could have been like the big reveal. Oh, that's a shame, man. That's a shame. But yeah, so we know that's how they interact. But I will say, I really dug the stuff with the Yetis in here.
Yeah.
I really love like the design of the Yetis, like the armor that you see in the morning, of like their castle that they're in. And the head Yeti, who I can't remember who plays her, but she is so darn good in here. She is like just perfect levels of quick wit. Like, her wit is so sharp in here. All the wit in here is sharp, but this was, like, exceptionally well done. Like, every bit of dialogue that one character has is so good. There is one moment in which they're all escaping, and I'm not going to spoil the line for anyone, but the line that she yells out as they're escaping is maybe the funniest thing in this entire film. It's so good. But yeah, speaking of the humor in here, as I said, I got a couple of really decent chuckles out of this thing.
Yeah.
But even when I wasn't getting a decent chuckle out of anything, I was like, that's nice.
Yeah,
that is very good. Yes.
Charming. We're going to be using that word a lot in this review.
I'm going to use it for every like of movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
Box Trolls. I didn't think Box Trolls was anything special, but I thought it was charming as hell. Kubo and the Two Strings. Yeah, it's an amazing film. Still very charming.
Charming and amazing.
And amazing. What else did they do? I'm totally blanking on a lot.
Paranorman.
I will admit, I'm like the one guy out there who thinks Paranorman is just okay. I know everybody else out there thinks it's amazing. I think it's just fine.
I think it's charming.
But I thought it was charming.
Yes,
it is a charming, okay film, I think. That's what got me through that film and made me overlook a lot of problems I had with that movie. Yeah, it's still charming. All right, fine. By the way, Leica now has a brand new, like, animated studio logo. That's one of my favorite things about this entire movie. Like, as soon as the ending credits are done, which there's no, like, surprise scenes in the ending credits.
No.
But they're really cool ending credits, so stick around through them. That you owe it to yourself. At the end of all that, you get to see, like, Leica's new animated studio logo. It's a really darn pretty studio logo. It basically shows, like, every single one of their movies all at once. But yeah, I really don't have a lot else to say about this movie, aside from, like, one thing I want to talk about in the spoiler section. So I'm going to go ahead and give it my score. I'm going to give it like a 7.5. Like, I'm going back and forth between 7.5 and an 8.
Yeah, I'd probably give it like an 8. Too.
Okay, so if you give it an 8, I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Yeah, like, I feel like this would be an 8. Like, if it was like an amazing movie like Kubo or Coraline, it would be like a 9 or 9.5, maybe even 10. But, like, because it's just charming and not amazing, I'm just going to bump it down.
Yeah.
Just 1.
Like, again, it's not like it's not like there's anything wrong in this thing.
No.
It's just, when this movie is good, it is good.
Yes.
And it's just kind of good throughout the entire thing. And to me, 7 is good. And because it looks so darn amazing, that bumps up to 7.5 for me.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, also, I kind of do have to applaud a film that, even if it's just good, I gotta applaud a film that can manage to be good throughout the entire movie. Mm-hmm. That's actually pretty impressive. So yeah, spoiler time. The only thing that's really a spoiler that wasn't shown in the trailers was, at the end of this, the big, like the head of the Adventurers Club. By the way, it's also, I do kind of dig the fact that this guy is incredibly upset because he also believes that if the Sasquatch is found, it will prove evolution is a thing.
Yeah, like,
and he's so enraged, like, no, I did not come from apes. I don't know why I always have to grab suspenders when I do that voice.
But and it's like shows like he's just like, he's a man of his time, you know. It's like, times are changing, you're having electricity, and I don't like this. This world is not meant for me, and I don't like change.
He mentioned suffrage in there.
Yeah.
It's definitely like, he is definitely I'm the ghost of never changing your past coming here. Yeah, there are lessons everyone can learn from that dude. But I dig at the end of this thing how just nuts he goes. Because there was a moment where they were hanging off of this ice bridge, which again looks amazing. This movie looks really damn good. Mm-hmm. At the end of this, he's hanging there on this ice bridge, and he just goes absolutely nuts. Like, clearly he is going to get himself killed trying to destroy this bridge while he's standing on it.
Yes.
Because he's just like that insane over, no, I can't be proven wrong. And I kind of dug that because in the day and age of the internet, when you see people just flip their fucking lids at the mere thought of possibly being proven wrong, no matter how much evidence is in front of them. I know this guy is in the late 19th century, but it really, like, I could picture the Twitter meltdown that this was in physical form right here. I was like, yeah, I'm getting some level of joy out of this on a relatable level. I'm getting like a level of joy out of like all those people you see online where it's like, no matter what evidence you bring, no matter what information you have, they're just going to just bullshit their way into believing whatever lie they want. And seeing this guy just flip the fudge out at the end, I know that might not have been the message they wanted, but man, I took it as that message and I enjoyed it. So I enjoyed that part. Also, it continues the long line of the #1 way of villains dying in animated children's film, falling.
Well, I guess having the hero kill the villain would be too much for a children's film, but...
I'm not saying I don't understand. I'm just saying it is kind of interesting that is such a trend. Like, man, we gotta get rid of the villain. Fall. And they do it to 3 villains in a row in this thing. So yeah, I really don't have any other spoilers in this thing. This thing is really... If you saw the trailer, you know what happens in the movie. And it's a basic movie. But, you know, it's good, and I would recommend everybody checking it out.
So I like the parallels between Lionel and Susan, like how they both want to belong somewhere, but
yes.
but the people who are there, who they think are like their brethren, don't consider them one of their kind.
Yes,
like,
I really dug that.
Yeah, I mean, I love how like the Yetis like call him like a redneck because of his red fur, and it's like, yeah, because he's from the country. And just...
they are such snobs to him. So yeah, I really did enjoy that as well. I think that was a great little bit of story that they put in there.
Like in the end, like Lionel and Susan like team up and become adventurers.
They become
together.
Watson and Holmes.
Yeah, basically. Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of want to see like a spin-off like cartoon of them like going around.
Man,
like...
it made me so mad to think that this probably isn't going to make a lot of movies because for some reason none of the Leica films ever make money, which is really sad.
It's so disappointing.
And we were in an empty ass studio. It was theater. It was the 2 of us and 2 other people. That was it. And man, it was sad seeing that. Because, yeah, these people work hard on these movies, but
do.
hey, man, they keep making them. So clearly they somehow make money on these things. They never make money in the studios, but I guess, like, maybe in Europe they make a lot of money.
Let's hope so.
Maybe, like, on home release they make a lot of money. I don't know where they make the money from, but they do make money. Just never in the American box office. It's so interesting. So, yeah, oh, yeah, I will also say, what was the widow's name?
Oh, Claudia?
Yeah, I dig that at the end. She's like, now I go off on my adventure. Like, I dig that she doesn't hook up with Lionel.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I dig that she's like, I'm going off on my adventure because I've spent so many years mourning the loss of my husband. I'm doing this for me. I was like, yeah, you know what? That's a good message in there too.
Yeah.
Oh, also, one thing I totally forgot to say, talking about how good the animation looks in here. There is this, like, fight sequence on a boat, as is, like, going over waves. That was great.
That was crazy.
That was choreographed
like,
so well.
Like there were like scenes where like the boat was like sideways on a giant wave, and it's like they were actually like running across like the walls over doors, and that's
that was all mapped out so well. Like I said, even when these guys tell stories that are just okay, they make them look great. But yeah, there you go. That is our thoughts on Missing Link. It feels good to actually finally do a short review for once. We probably stretched this out.
A short, nice one. Yes. Not a short, angry one.
Yes. Our angry ones are never short.
Because we're too busy ranting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they are short because I never have to stop and think about what I want to say. Yeah, so if you want to see that review of Hellboy, the card will be popping up for in just a second. Make sure that you click that subscribe. If you want to see more reviews from us, we'll be back next week with The Curse of La Llorona. Why is it that every weird supernatural film this year decided to come out right before freaking Avengers Endgame? They're like, let's get this out of the way right now so it can be buried underneath that in just a couple of weeks. Let's not wait until Halloween when people might see this stuff. Now, I do not understand you, Hollywood. I don't understand your ass. Let's go ahead and take bets on this right now, by the way. This is being made by James Wan. He's not directing it, but it's the same, he's producing it. Same guy who's produced The Conjuring and all the Conjuring shared cinematic universe movies. What are the odds that in this movie, there's going to be some kind of stinger in here that reveals it's in the Conjuring universe?
I'd say a pretty good chance.
I'm going 50-50 on this one. It's set in the modern day and age, which none of these other Conjuring films have been set in yet. So that's my only reason for thinking it might not be. I'm going 50-50 on this one right now. Which is a really chicken thing to do. You know what? I'm going 75-25 that's going to happen on this one. I think there's a pretty decent shot at this.
All right, I'd say the same thing.
Okay, cool. All right, so come back next week for that. Bye, everyone.
Bye.